Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? This is Joseph from Action X 3000. Welcome back to another Let Joe Talk. Ironically, it's been a while since I recorded the last one because the last one, which you just saw about season 2, was recorded I think a month ago, and it took me a while to get around to it. But now I'm kind of in a really comfortable mood right now, so hopefully I'll be able to get these out more quicker and efficient. And especially with today, it's kind of more relevant today. Now speaking with recent development, basically the topic. If you haven't read the title, you just clicked on this randomly. I'm going to talk about why does studio interferences keep happening nowadays. I bring this up recently because apparently the recent film Men in Black International has been and also Dark Phoenix before that have been cause for commotion in terms of studio interference and what maybe New Mutants will have and stuff like that. And generally, I keep getting annoyed every time because it seems like every time a movie is so hated and critically panned by fans and critics that everyone just starts piling on the bandwagon that it's a really bad movie, and then the information starts getting leaked. And it's like, oh no, apparently it's this guy's fault. It's this guy's fault. No, it's that guy's fault. Oh no, it's the producer's fault. It's the director's fault. Like, you keep hearing that story and the drama behind it, and it's been always, sometimes they get leaked out before the movie, sometimes they don't. It depends. Like the biggest one, in my opinion, was Fantastic Four back in 2015. But just to start out, I still don't understand how we still live in this day and era where why don't studios just let the directors and writers and the actors just do their thing? I made this point, I think, in an earlier last season. I talked about how, with the comic book movies, to let, especially everyone besides Marvel, to let their writers, let their directors, let them do the movies they want to do. And more likely than not, they produce very great movies. And most of the time, especially still with some comic book movies, there's still the cases where the studios get way too involved or a producer gets way too involved and it ruins the final product. The first example for me that had a very much of a very deeper resonance for this was Spider-Man 3. I was unaware of that when I was a kid. When Spider-Man 3 came out, I was just a kid. I was like 9 years old, I want to say. I was so excited to see Spider-Man 3. And initially, when I saw the movie, I thought it was great. I was a kid. I didn't have a critical thing of it. I was like, cool, 2 hours of more Spider-Man. And then the more I got older, the more I rewatched it, I'm like, this isn't what I was expecting. Because coming off Spider-Man 2, where even as a kid to now, I still love that movie. It's still one of my highest ranked movies out there. So the more I got older, the more I more critically viewed Spider-Man 3. It was just not a good movie. It was a mess. And then when I started reading online and what really happened, and when the original producer for Spider-Man films, A.V. Abram, he wanted Venom to be in the movie, and no offense, the symbiote and the Venom stuff kind of ruined the movie. If you removed everything about the symbiote from Spider-Man 3, I think the movie would have been better. But I think that was, for me, the very first case of studio interference. I know there was probably an earlier example, but I'm just telling you, when I started to become more well aware of it. And then I don't think it became more relevant in terms of everyday conversation, or at least into a more often period, was when the Fantastic Four movie came out, the 2015 one. And that was just, part of my language, it was an extreme shit show of a movie. I saw it, I think me and George, or one of us told the story somewhere on one of the shows. We saw Resurrection F that day, Dragon Ball Z, that same day, but it was a later showing, and we were hanging out with another mutual friend of ours at the time, and we were like, well, we got 3 hours to kill before the movie. What's a movie that we could see right now? And we picked Fantastic Four. That was the worst fucking 2 hours of my life. Let me tell you what, that movie it was boring from what I remember. I haven't seen Fantastic Four since I saw it in theater, and maybe if we're to rewatch, maybe it'll be better. I highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure if I eventually, I don't even have the DVD, and if I don't have a DVD for a comic book movie in recent years, that's a telltale sign, at least in my books, it's a bad film. But regardless of that, different show for another time. I just, in general, that was the first film, and then to kind of backtrack a little bit, that was when that was a flop. That flopped hard. And it's sold that Fox cannot, and ironically, this came after Days of Future Past from the X-Men film. That came after that. And so, like, a lot of people were, like, on such a high train with Fox. Like, yes, Fox can do no wrong. We had First Class, which was great. We had The Wolverine, which was good. We had Days of Future Past, which was great. So when we got to hear a Fantastic Four reboot was on the way by them, many fans, just like myself, were like, holy shit, we finally might get a great Fantastic Four movie. And then we started getting the trailers, and then we started getting, like, the leaks about how there was problems with the director, and, you know, there was a bunch of reshoots without him, and there was, like, and then it was like, oh no, this isn't going to be good. And then when it came out, it wasn't that good. So, and that was kind of like, that was kind of a disappointment. So, we don't know what happened with that set, if the director was having the problems or if it was the producers. Again, we don't know. But all I know is that that film was the first one where the studio got involved in a negative way, and it didn't help the final product. And it spoke clearly, because I heard a story from one of the actors that they were at the San Diego Comic-Con before Fantastic Four was released, and apparently no one even recognized them. Like, usually when big named actors who are playing these big superhero characters, when they go to, like, a convention like San Diego Comic-Con, you assume that, holy shit, this is Fantastic Four, this is Invisible Woman, they should be being flogged, but no one recognized them. And it kind of, like, was kind of an insult to injury how they just didn't, like, for me, it's like they didn't own those characters. For me, they didn't embody them. I prefer the 2005 version, or until Marvel Studios eventually does their own proper version, which I can't wait for. And then since then, it's kind of been like almost every year. It's like we've always heard some new recent case of a movie that had problems with its studio interference. And I think the next one was, I'm trying to remember. Goddamn, there's so many. I remember there was like there was a movie in between then and now, and then recently this year there's been 3 movies, near close to each other, like Hellboy. I heard that Hellboy, like, I think the producers they kept getting involved. The actor David Harbour, which I just watched Stranger Things. He's fantastic. Please go watch Stranger Things if you haven't. He had problems on the set. The director had problems on the set. Everyone had problems on the set, and that's what made the movie bad. And a lot of people were like, wow, I wish we got Hellboy 3. To be fair, I have no real connection to the Hellboy series. I don't, so I don't know anything. I'm just reporting what I know. Dark Phoenix was the same thing, where it's like we got a lot of reshoots, we got a lot of and they claimed that Captain Marvel and Endgame, they delayed the film, and then it was the James Cameron thing, where apparently he told Fox to push it because for Alita. I'm just going to say this for that front. I haven't seen Dark Phoenix yet, but from what I heard from everyone that I've ever trusted on the internet, like personalities and my friends, everyone had the mutual feeling like this movie sucks dick. And okay. Very horrible analogy. It just sucks. I'm sorry for saying that, but I don't understand why you would delay a movie just because for another movie. I mean, I'm going to say this as a comparison. If James Cameron was so afraid of Alita coming out in December, because Alita apparently was supposed to come out December last year. So let me give you a little short thing. If Jumanji from 2017, someone managed to get almost $1 billion against Star Wars, and James Cameron was afraid Alita was going to bomb, I don't know. I guess it was like the producer mindset. They had to get away with it. They needed like a good avenue to release it in. And to be fair, 2018 December movies, like, they didn't really do that well. Besides Aquaman, which grossed $1 billion, Into the Spider-Verse did fairly well. Bumblebee did fairly well. I think another one came out, but I forgot which one. Those movies did well, and I feel like Alita could have done well. I mean, Alita only made $400 million, but anyway, that's besides the point. I'm just saying in general, James Cameron, please never delay shit again. I mean, you delayed Avatar 2 for like over a decade, and I don't think anyone cares anymore. But again, stop. Back to the point at hand. Dark Phoenix was the same thing, where it was like there was just too much like behind the scenes trouble, and apparently there was even more behind the scenes trouble with Apocalypse. That was the movie I was remembering, Apocalypse. Where was I? Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is that, and then of course Men in Black International. Apparently they were like producers. The same thing. In general, I don't understand still to kind of you heard my examples already. Why do producers have the need to interfere with the movie? They are producing the movie. They're getting the movie to happen, but they're not the creative aspect of it. Left the creative aspect to the directors, to the writers, to the actors who's doing this job. And I haven't even seen Men in Black International, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm pretty sure I will at least enjoy because of Hemsworth and Thompson. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that I still don't, I don't understand. We live in an era where there are amazing movies coming out almost every other month. We just had Endgame. We just had Far From Home. We just had Toy Story 4. And some of them, I'm not saying every production has to have a very smooth process. I'm not saying that at all. But when you're purposely messing with the director's, the writer's original creative vision, just because you think you're going to have it, like, no, I think this would be better, you shouldn't do that. Since you they were hired for a reason. They had a vision, and you should let them continue that vision. Because I remember there was a time where, I forgot what it was Ratatouille. I remember the original director, he had the vision, like the concept of the vision, but he couldn't achieve it. So they had Brad Bird take over for that, which honestly, Ratatouille, again, another one of my films that I like top rank. Top. Go see Ratatouille. Anyway, so I don't get it. Like, if you're hiring a person for a vision, let them do their vision. I understand a lot of money is being about making a movie is not cheap. Whether it's an indie, a small budget, or a high budget, I get it. It's not cheap. But guess what? That's the risk with the movie business. But you can't just, unless it was a disaster level crap. We made a huge mistake. I understand that. But if you, especially with like the recent commotion with the Snyder cut and everything, and again, I have no real ill will to that. If we ever get a Snyder cut, okay, that's great. But yeah. But anyway, you should at least trust in their vision. Trust in it, because you never know where it's gonna go. Okay, if it's a big mistake, okay, cut your losses, move on to the next thing. But the Justice League thing, now that I'm thinking about it more, was a really disappointing. I know, like, there was a tragedy with that, but also many people theorized, like, oh no, because of the Batman v Superman backlash, and then Warner Bros. Fear of having a third time of, like, Schneider having lower expectations. I get that, I understand that, but everyone saw how Justice League turned out by Joss Whedon, and no disrespect to Joss Whedon, he made the first two Avengers movies, which kind of led into Infinity War and Endgame, so I'm not faulting him on that. I'm just saying a point. But I still don't. Studios have to let the filmmakers follow their creative vision, because you never know what's gonna stick or not. It's the audience who's gonna fall in love. We live in a world where, I said this before, critics are not the driving force anymore, whether a movie is successful or not. Look at Venom last year. Venom was critically panned, and it still made $800 million in the box office. It doesn't matter anymore what critics. I understand critics are professional film reviewers. I get they have a job to do. They respect the movie. I get it. But we also live in an age where everyone needs to form their own opinion. Don't let I haven't played Days Gone yet. I heard a lot of mediocre mixed things about it, but I haven't played it, so I don't have an opinion on it. If I ever talk about Days Gone in the conversation, I just tell everyone I haven't played Days Gone. This is what I heard. That's it. That's the honest truth. And that's the thing everyone has to be honest with. The honest truth. And this does go back to what I was talking about before. Movie studios have to put trust. They have to be honest with their filmmakers, because they never know. Like, I think, what was the movie that had, like, I forgot. But there's been movies, there have been examples where these were original IPs or really different ideas that no one ever expected, and they resonated so well with audience members. Where if they hadn't done it, you never know what's going to happen. Like, let's say if Warner Bros. Never trusted Christopher Nolan, they kept changing Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. We never had gotten that amazing trilogy. So, and we still live in that era where I still don't understand. Let your filmmakers let them finish the work they started. Just let them finish it. It's not the worst thing in the world. If the movie doesn't do well, guess what? Just cut ties with it and say, hey, this film didn't do what we wanted to do, but okay, we won't work with you again, and you'll never work with us again. Simple. I mean, let the movie be made by the director. Let his full vision go through. Unless it's a total train wreck, which I understand that, but you just never know with these certain films. The movie industry, and just seeing movies nowadays, you just never know what's going to work. You just don't know. You just have to hope it gets an audience, and it works out in the end. And hope, and that's all everyone could say. And to speak directly to those recent examples, Fox. Thank God you're not making any more X-Men movies. And I know you're bought by Disney, so you have a corporate overlord now. But still, please trust in Kevin Feige. Okay. Oh, and all jokes aside. And Sony with Men in Black International. I don't know what happened with that film, honestly. I haven't seen the movie, but from what I heard, just let the director do his work. I mean, the director for Men in Black International, he did Straight Outta Compton, which was a very critically acclaimed movie, and he did Fate of the Furious, which, while it was not as critically acclaimed, it still made $1 billion. So he knows what he's doing, and if there's been problems, let him do what he's doing. And I'm just at the end of the day, the message I'm trying to convey to everyone is like, be respectful to the if you're part of a movie studio company or if you're working on films, let the filmmaker, let the director, let the writers, just let them do their job. They have this creative vision. Let them do what they do. If they don't, if they themselves they don't believe in the vision, okay, that's fine. But don't purposely try to force your way. Don't purposely try to change something just because you think it's the right thing. Because at the end of the day, you don't know. But at least the right thing to do is just let them do their job. Let them make the films they want to make. And again, I have no confirmation on the Hellboy thing. I have no confirmation on the Men in Black International. I have no confirmation. I'm just saying at the end of the day, just trust in your filmmakers. That's it. And we will probably have a much easier time in this very weird landscape that is movies. Anyway, that's all I got to say on this matter. Thanks everyone for watching this episode of Let Joe Talk. If you like it. Subscribe if you want. Ring the bell. That's all I can really say. I'll see you guys soon. See ya.